Years ago, I co-directed an international writing program in the course of which two of my colleagues, prize-winning writers and eminent creative writing professors, stated flatly that dreams have no place in fiction, ever. Well, I tend to write fiction with a lot of dreams in it, so my first reaction naturally was existential panic. My second reaction was to revisit some of my favorite novels to see if the pronouncement held true. Imagine my relief when I returned to the opening pages of what is, in my opinion, one of the greatest novels of the 21st century so far, Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and read this. In the dream from which he'd wakened, he had wandered in a cave where the child led him by the hand, their light playing over the wet flowstone walls, like pilgrims in a fable, swallowed up and lost among the inward parts of some granitic beast. Deep stone flues where the water dripped and sang, tolling in the silence the minutes of the earth and the hours and the days of it and the years without cease, until they stood in a great stone room where lay a black and ancient lake, and on the far shore a creature that raised its dripping mouth from the rimstone pool and stared into the light with eyes dead white and sightless as the eggs of spiders. It swung its head low over the water as if to take the scent of what it could not see, crouching there, pale and naked and translucent, its alabaster bones cast up in shadow on the rocks behind it, its bowels, its beating heart, the brain that pulsed in the dull glass bell. It swung its head from side to side and then gave out a low moan and turned and lurched away and loped soundlessly into the dark. People, haven't you heard about this in workshops? Never do this. Never begin the story with the character ruminating. Never begin a story with the character waking up. And above all, never begin a story with a dream. It's probably a good thing McCarthy didn't submit this for a critique in a writing workshop, because without that dream, in its harrowing opening pages, The Road would have been a much less powerful novel. The fact is, fictional dreams can be awkwardly written, obvious, and contrived, but when they're well-wrought, defamiliarized, and organic to the story, they can capture a character's inner landscape with stunning effect. Here's another example. This is from Margaret Atwood's Oryx and Crake. Jimmy's in the kitchen of the house they lived in when he was 5, sitting at the table. It's lunchtime. In front of him on a plate is a round of bread, a flat peanut butter bread with a gleaming jelly smile, raisins for teeth. This thing fills him with dread. Any minute now, his mother will come into the room. But no, she won't. Her chair is empty. She must have made his lunch and left it for him. But where has she gone? Where is she? There's a scraping sound. It's coming from the wall. There's someone on the other side, digging a hole, through, breaking in. He looks at that part of the wall, below the clock with the different birds marking the hours. Hoot, 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 says the robin. He'd done that. He'd altered the clock. The owl says caw, caw. The crow says cheer up, cheer up. But that clock wasn't there when he was 5. They'd got it later. Something's wrong. The time's wrong. He can't tell what it is. He's paralyzed with fright. The plaster begins to crumble, and he wakes up. What this passage, and the one I read to you earlier from Cormac McCarthy, have in common is an unsettlingly slant portrayal of essentially dark human emotions. It's a portrayal that draws its power from the shadow region of the collective unconscious, the region Carl Jung identified as the source of nightmares, fairy tales, and myths. Done well, fictional dreams offer us the kind of direct and extremely personal access to the shadow region that is much harder to achieve in more on-the-nose narrative arts like film or television. Fiction is irresistible because it offers the reader the opportunity to fully inhabit a consciousness not their own. This is why readers will always crave it. A vivid inner landscape is something novels provide more completely than any other narrative art form, which is why they will never be fully replaced by movies or TV shows or virtual reality games. As novelists, the inner landscape is a domain of comparative advantage because we have certain freedoms and privileges within that domain that are not readily available to other artists. Fiction unfolds primarily as refracted through our point of view characters' minds, which means that we're uniquely positioned to push the outer limits of objective reality, including visions, hallucinations, and dreams. Dreams connect us with the deep power of the collective unconscious, allowing us to capture an aspect of the human spirit experience that no other medium can do as well. And despite the dour pronouncement I made at the beginning of this video, many novels do contain dreams. If you enjoyed this video and want to see others like it, hit the like button and become a subscriber to my YouTube page. If you'd like to receive occasional information about online writing classes and travel programs, feel free to send me a message via the contact form at my website, timweed.net. Have a great day.